We are the Willow Creek Paranormal Society, and these are our Specter stories. The first woman called a Weatherby Witch was born more than 200 years ago. Through the years since, the women of the Weatherby line have been alternately celebrated and persecuted for their supposed powers. They were known as potion makers and seers and, most notably, as mediums for contacting the dead. Natasha Weatherby was the daughter of a Weatherby witch and a supposed spellcaster from Glimmerbrook. For many years, she was known as a medium for the stars, helping the wealthy and powerful from San Myshuno to Del Sol Valley in their dealings with the departed. She eventually married one of her clients, actor Ian White, with the stipulation that her daughters would always bear the Weatherby name. You'll recognize the next link in the Weatherby chain, our own Sadie Weatherby, our invaluable psychic medium. After her mother's death far too early, Sadie is now the only living Weatherby witch. Some say she's the most powerful of the line, though Sadie herself would never make such a claim. What she does claim is that the family's home, Weatherby Hall, is one of the most psychically active buildings in the world. Today, in an amazing act of generosity by Sadie Weatherby, we're going inside the historic mansion for an exclusive tour. You may think you know the Weatherby legends, but you haven't even scratched the surface. The Willow Creek Paranormal Society is proud to present a tour of Weatherby Hall. And I'm your host, paranormal investigator Lacey Turner.
Gibbs.
Let's open the door on the Weatherby legend. So, when I was a little girl, I had no idea that my house and my family was considered special, different. Sure, we had a few different ways of doing things, but I still watched cartoons, and I had a freezer bunny lunchbox, and I celebrated Winterfest. I mean, just like a normal kid. I figured it out when I started talking to a little girl at school. Her name was Belinda, and it took me way too long to realize that no one else could see her, and that's because she died 5 years before. Soon, all my friends were calling me a weirdo and a witch, and Belinda was my very best friend. It's not good for spirits to linger in this plane. They need to move on, both for their own happiness and for the people who love them. Sometimes they just get really attached. I finally learned how to help Belinda cross over when I was a teenager. I still think about her, you know? She was the best friend I ever had. And I mean, things kept being weird. And I finally realized that some of the people in our house weren't alive. Some of my family wasn't alive. I used to talk to my grandmother both before and after she passed, and she taught me the rest of what I needed to know. Alright, you know I have to ask. If you and your family talk to the dead, does that mean that you can tell us about the afterlife? The real afterlife? After passing on from this plane? I don't know, Lacey. No one does. No one does. It's a door. At least that's how I've always seen it. It's a door. You walk through it, and you go somewhere else. And we won't know until we go through it ourselves someday. I think I maybe caught glimpses once or twice, but I don't know. I don't know, and it would be irresponsible to say. So, the tour. The hall was built a long time ago, but there used to be another hall before it, and another before that. There isn't much evidence for it, but I know they were there. You just kind of have to trust me. But this is what you need to see, really. These are the urns of the most recent dead. Most recent? Sadie, there have to be how many generations just here? 9. And then the empty one right here, that one's for me. Oh. So, given the immense legacy of your family, I'm sorry if this is intrusive, but are you planning on having children as well? I mean, of course. I have to. I have to. Don't I? Do you? It's more complicated than... Oh, did you feel that? What? Like a shock, like... Oh no, come on. The man in the basement had an expensive suit, enough product in his hair to sink a ship, and an aura I can only define as electric. Sadie was not enthused. Who are you? How'd you get past the wards? Who are you? Greetings, witch. I thought you might be more hospitable to the sage of mischief. But maybe the Weatherbys have bred out the sense of humor? Your great-grandmother, she was a card. A sage? What does a sage want with me? Dear heart, did you think that only your mother's heritage mattered? Your witchy self? Your father's bloodline calls to you, child. Come to the realm. You are expected. No, I know what spellcasters do. I don't want anything to do with... Ah! Sadie? What in the... Hey, you, she doesn't want you here. Get out of the house. Oh my, a friend? Get out of the house. Ah, I see. Well, this is intriguing. The witch has protectors. Special protectors, even. Well, ladies, I will take my leave. I expect to see you soon, dear Sadie. And you, guardian. I'm sure we'll meet again. And that's how life, once again, became a bit more complicated.